Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this Tuesday morning. We got a great show lined up, but first, as always, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking at a cool night. How cool? How about getting down to about 37 is what the meteorologists are telling us tonight. Highs are only going to be 64, okay? So, and the water temperature, it has gone below 70 degrees, 69.5. That's the first time this year, this season, it's gone below 70 degrees, 69.5. That's very interesting. River reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take it outside with Mountain Dew. We're looking at a pretty decent shape. I've been across the Apalachicola several times in the last few days. It's at a 3.7. It looks good. The river looks good and healthy right now. 3.7 there to Choctaw, Caryville, dropping out just a little bit at a 3.1. And it's in good shape also. We're fortunate and we're blessed here in Panhandle to have these two big river systems right here and a lot of smaller rivers flowing into them and all. It's just really pretty area. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, and we're looking at a low tide this morning at 5:35 and a high tide at 8:15 tonight. The low tide, of course, this morning coming in all day. Now, you want to see some strong tides. You look at today and the next 3 or 4 days, we got some really strong tides. The weekend is going to be great with our tidal situation. We got some rainy weather and all, and it's going to cool off. The wind's going to be blowing now. It's going to be coming out of northwest at about 17 today, and then later on when it clears on out, it's going to be coming straight out of north at about 14. So we're going to have a windy day. So you might want to just work on your tackle today and get ready to go fishing later on. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Jeff and I were just talking and he brought it up. This whole year just flying by so fast. Y'all, this is middle of November, Thanksgiving about 2 weeks, and then boom, here's Christmas, and boom, it's 2020. It's got to slow down. It's amazing. I do want to mention now the Bluntstown boat ramp. Billy Grantham, several people sent me notice that the Bluntstown boat ramp there, they've been working on it. It's been closed for a little bit. I don't know when it's going to open back up, but they're doing some repairs down there, so be aware of that. Of course, a lot of other places are launching along that area and all. I do want to, let's look at some pictures. I get them sent in to me by all kinds of different folks, and y'all recognize this young man. How about Steve Shea? And this is not a Panhandle buck now. You know, he told us when he was on the show he was headed out to Missouri. And that's a 160-inch, 240-pound buck. That is a Midwest, that is a huge deer. So congratulations, Steve. Thank you for sending that to us. And I told him to send us a picture of a big buck when he got it. So there it is right there. Not to be outdone, y'all know my good fishing buddy, Tony Bass. His baby girl, she, look at that. That's a great one, Paige. Good job there, up there out of Valdosta, Georgia. Good job there. And I want to read this one to you because this one, they're all special, but this is Casey Bashford. This is Travis's sister, okay? Travis that comes on the show with FWC, his sister Casey, just married Thomas Halls, and Thomas been from here, in class at Mosley, but he's been hunting Kentucky for a long time. But I want to read this. This is a great testimonial on how to hunt. A few years ago, now Casey had an illustrious career. She was with the Secret Service and all that, but she's in real estate now. But anyway, a few years ago, someone told me I would never kill anything with my bow. I used that statement as fuel during my first season of seriously bow hunting. I cannot express how grateful I am that I had the opportunity to harvest not one but 2 deer today. After over 35 hunts, okay, talking about persistence, after 35 hunts, I was losing faith. Bow hunting took its mental and emotional toll on me this season. And a lot of us can identify with that. You hunt, you don't have any success, and it starts bothering you. It is by far one of the hardest sports I've ever tried, and much respect to all the bow hunters out there. Many times I wanted to give up and quit the sport after busting deer and wounded the biggest deer I've ever seen, but he did survive. But my husband, Thomas Halls, kept pushing me to get out in the stand, hunt after hunt. I cannot thank him enough for that push and the belief he had in me. Days like today make all the freezing and frustrating hunts worth it. So good job, Casey. I thought that's a good testimonial right there. Also, I got a couple more pictures. We're having, let me find it, tomorrow, Thursday, over here at St. Joe, the FWC is having a scallop workshop, and I had the notice from them somewhere, and okay, I can't find it. But anyway, trust me, they're having it. I'll talk more about it. It's going to be at the courthouse there. They've had them there before, and I just want input from the public on as a stakeholder. We're all stakeholders in the scallops in St. Joe Bay as to how you feel about different things and all. They're gathering all this information. They'll gather this information and have some meetings and talk to their biologists and all, and then come up with a plan for next year as far as what's due on the season and different things like that. So it gives a great opportunity to do that. Now, I've got a busy Thursday. I'm going to get up Thursday morning and head up to Defuniac Springs, the Bent Rod Fishing Club, having an annual fish fry. And it's just hard for me to miss a good fish fry. I haven't been to one recently, so I'm looking forward to seeing all the folks at the Bent Rod Fishing Club up there in Defuniac. Also Thursday night, the CCA out of Gulf County having their banquet there. So all kinds of things going on Thursday. So we got a busy schedule. Okay. Also want to mention the Gulf County. All you folks in Gulf County, you don't have to go to Gulf County to go to that CCA meeting and all. It's open to everyone, okay? Let me see. Several other things, too, I want to mention. How about my buddy up there in Telosia, Steve Kane, sent us to Winston Chester. Well, the fall bite is on. Took Warren Johnson to the Big River Saturday, and we blistered the bluegill. 65 bluegill and a nice channel cat. Great day fishing with a great friend. Good job, Steve. Steve and I grew up together, went to Quincy, and Steve is a good outdoorsman, lives down there in Telosia now on the old family property, and I know enjoying retirement. Watch this show every morning, Steve, so good morning to you, and good shout out to you. Let's take a break, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us on this morning. Stay dry and be safe on the roads and everything. And just be careful out there. We want to make this announcement here. Coming up, now Thanksgiving later this year, I was looking at it, when I first saw this, I was thinking this is Thanksgiving weekend because November 23rd, usually Thanksgiving weekend, but the turkey shoot and pancake breakfast at the Scott Ferry Firehouse. That's 13 miles south of Bluntstown on Highway 71. Pancake, $5 a plate. Turkey shoots beginning at 8 o'clock that morning, okay? Kids around. It's an annual fundraiser for the Scotts Fair Volunteer Fire Department. We've got some good viewers over at Scotts Fair. That's an interesting area. It's so pretty over there. The term Scotts Ferry, of course, there actually was a ferry there to cross the Chipotle River. Beautiful area. There was a ferry there to way back for a long time, and the Scott family ran it, Mr. Scott and all. So great history and all through the area. And I keep running across some historical documents and different things, and my love and passion for history continues strong. I really enjoy it. I'm very fortunate to have a marriage mate that loves the same thing that I do. So we'll get off into history sometimes, just start talking about it and go to courthouse and look up records and all, and I could just go on and on. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I do. Let's go to modern day now, what's happening now. Up in, my family, Wendy and her family moved up to Tennessee about 2 years ago, and we don't get to spend near as much time, of course, with them as we did before. We miss them a whole lot, but Mason is good about, the kids are good about touching base with us, and Wendy calls her mom every day, so we stay in touch. But Mason went on a Tennessee youth hunt. They had it recently, and that weekend he went up there. They have a farm about 45 miles west of Nashville. They get to on weekends and all, and it's a nice place and good farm, and got some nice deer on there. So Mason, they actually, I tell all my grandkids, I said, shoot me some outdoor video, we put it on the show. Well, sure enough, Mason and Walter did, and Mason sort of narrates and does a good job with it. He you know how like most young teenagers, 9th and 10th graders, they stay so busy with school and clubs and football, now basketball, and and then, you know, church on Sunday, and then boom, you got to hunt or fish on Saturday, and sometimes you're so tired you don't want to get up. Y'all remember that feeling? Okay, so Jeff, let's roll this video of Mason Woodrick, okay?
Give me a talk.
We hunted all morning and walked around and saw some stuff running around, but never had a good shot. And so we're kind of making the last loop until we go up to the house, and this is a big cornfield that we just planted stuff in, and then we saw stuff coming this way. We had a lot of cover, but that also gave us a lot of stuff that we couldn't shoot through. So we had to kind of crawl up, and then I didn't know he was right there, and then he said he's right there, so I had to kind of just get it up and shoot, because she was right here looking at me.
Stomping.
Yeah. But she ran around, and now she's right there. I just had to get up on my knees and freehand it. I was shaking all around.
That's a good shot.
That's fun. It's not the best shot. When I was coming up, I saw a deer like way off, and then as I got closer, I noticed like there were a bunch of turkeys around, and turkeys can see a lot better than deer, so I didn't really know what to do, because if I keep going and the turkeys see me and they scare off, then that might scare the deer off. But if I just sit there, then the deer might smell me because it wasn't the best wind. So I was kind of in a bind and just had to go. And the turkey saw me and they went off, but they didn't really make a scene about it. But that kind of alerted the deer, so they were all wagging their tails and looking up and stomping. So another minute and they probably all would have been gone.
There goes a deer.
Is that her baby?
Oh no. She didn't have any milk in her teats. How's football going?
Good.
Sometimes deer hunting is a real drag.
I'm having to use my right foot. Reminds me of pulling sleds over the summer. I don't miss that. came out, so just look it over really quick. I don't know that there is an exit. What do you mean? Well, you went straight in. It's probably still in there somewhere. Really? Yeah. All right. Let me get it lower. Okay. One. Let's get a little swing going. One, 2, 3. Just hurt my shoulder. That hurt my ankle. All right. You walking? Sure. Hey, Granddaddy, that's a wrap on a hunt on Youth Weekend in Tennessee on Woodrick Farms. Thank you for watching Panhandle Outdoors.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. I love to see young people get outdoors, especially your grandchildren all getting outdoors and enjoying it and being successful. They're not successful all the time, but that's good. And thank you, Mason, for sending that to us. And let's go and look at our fishing game times today. They're today only one time, brought to us by Blue Water. Hopefully it'll be cleared up by 11:39 to 1:39, right in the middle of the day. Be a good time really to get out if you can, but be careful on the water. This next segment, I want to go over recently, just over the weekend and all, our Panhandle lost a giant of a man. Judge David Taunton from Weewall passed away. I've known David a long time. He wrote this book here, and I had him, when he wrote the book, when I just started Panhandle Outdoors, and he came on, I had one of them come on the show. I've known him a long time before he wrote the book and all. He has a Taunton family. He and his wife Abigail started a Taunton Family Children's Home, which is an amazing, truly amazing story. And that itself, we'll try to get into that. But I just want to spend some time talking about David Taunton and what he meant to the area and so many people. The book, when he came on the show, he gave me a copy of the book, and he actually came on the show. I don't know if you remember, October the 9th, 07. Do y'all remember that? October 9th, 07. I remember it well. And in fact, when the autograph, you get books autographed to you, and sometimes sometimes you understand you scribble down, but David just wrote something I never will forget. I just want to read it to you. He said, Dear Winston, thanks in part for inspiring this book. You are a great man. I'm a baby compared to him. You're a great man, and I appreciate your friendship. Sincere to David Taunton. And this book, he wanted to do a book similar to mine, a coffee table book and all, but it's a history. It's his memoirs, and what great memories. I started looking at it last night, and I just started going through the pictures and all, and I just brought back Weewall, Hitchcock is such an amazing place. Always has been special, and he recaptured his grandparents actually homesteaded that area around Honeyville and all. So I copied some of the pictures. I want to briefly show you some of the pictures that were in there, and then tell you some of his stories, and just try to give you a feeling of what it was back then. And I was so thankful he was able to actually capture that and get it up there. We got it up there now? Okay. So here we go. This particular picture. This is a house. This is a painting that his sister did of the house that he grew up in. No electricity, okay, no water, had a well back there, and he didn't have a pair of shoes until he was in the 7th grade. So you understand where he came from, and to be such highly successful and help people so much. And here he is with his grandparents. Is that not a classic picture? Being raised during the Depression and all, he had a loving family, and they always did a lot of family things together. And then they spent a lot of time on the river doing different things, and that river system down there is so pretty. Here he is with a picture. That's David and Abigail, and it started as children's home. And we talked about that on numerous occasions, and he just had a love for. And he he loved children, loved old people, and I understand where he's coming from. And, he just spent a lot of time with those two categories, and I find myself doing that. And David, they just wanted. There were some kids that needed, that had some really tough times. They sort of let them come to their house, and they just said, "Well, bring them in." And people started bringing kids, and folks, you know how much money they took from, how much money they received from our government, the state government, and the federal government. Zero. They receive no government funding, and they've raised hundreds and hundreds of kids, some from birth all the way to a grown-up and all. And here's just a picture of of each year they would have family pictures and all. They had the children's home. It was just fascinating. He wrote poems. He wrote this poem about his mama, just heartwarming. And here's some of these kids when they're grown now. They always come back. He always took a family. He always took them camping. Growing up, he would go camping. He and his dad and uncles would camp down there on the river the second weekend of November, which was usually the opening of squirrel season. And they kept doing that. He did it for his whole lifetime. They had camping trips on the river, and kids would come back. They might be in Colorado or Kansas or something. They would come back and go camping that weekend. I remember he told me he got a call one time from one of the kids who come. That kid was working in New York City, was out there, and he called him and said, "Oh, man, I sure wish I was there, Dad. I wish I was there with y'all and sit up here in New York City." And that's the kind of impression he had. I could spend a whole show on him. Here's Diana Taunton, and Diana, I've known her since she was young, and she was his daughter, and he just loved her, and he loved all his kids, but he had so many of them, and it made such an impression. Here's he and Abigail here, and the services are going to be tomorrow, will be Wednesday at noon. Guess where? There at the children's home. There in the gym. There. If you've ever been in that spread they have down there, it's just a wonderful place, and where they have so many people. And I wanted to read. I want to read the last paragraph he wrote in the book. I read it last night, and I just want to read this to you as we close out. And it was so. If you have a chance to get Golden Days, go ahead and get it. Here's the last paragraph he wrote. "I will always cherish the holidays of my childhood, when magical excitement filled the air, the wonder of God's love and a family love for one another. Oh, for those golden days. But could it be? The best is yet to come." And that was his last sentence, and that's what he has found out. And I'm sure he's rejoicing with so many family members and all as we speak. And it's just, he was a giant of a man. And we talk about the thing and the people he's helped, the families he raised, and all the kids and all who have families and always come back. And I hope to see some of y'all tomorrow. I certainly want to go there and pay my respect to David and his family. And that's the kind of the fabric of the Panhandle is in a man like David Taunton. So I just wanted to do a little segment on him. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. Do something good like David did every day for your fellow man. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.